Step number one when installing an aluminum frame into a pre-punched opening is to measure out the location where the frame will sit at the bottom or the top, and then from that point we will level it in either direction. So I'm marking the frame here. In this particular instance, it's at 2 inches. From that point there, I will take and plumb the opening and put my marks plumb. Now once I have determined where the plumb lines are and where the frame will be sitting in the opening, I'll take the frame and insert it into the rough opening on the given marks. Center the frame in the opening so you have an equal distance all the way around the opening if possible. Shim it into place and anchor it. So now once you have the frame centered in the opening, plumb and level, we'll shim it into place to make sure it stays in place at the proper location. I'll then take a drill, drill my hole. Okay, at this point I will screw the frame into place, making sure as to control the amount of pressure on the screw and the aluminum frame so as not to bend it. Okay, once the frame is installed, I'm going to tape the opening, put the glass in. To install the tape, you want to make sure that you keep it flush with the outer part of the window stop and not overlap the tape at the top or the bottom. Once the opening is completely taped, I'm going to install the setting blocks that the glass will sit on at quarter points of the glass. And then I'll install the glass. So now I've got the glass installed and maintaining a 1/4 inch gap between the pieces of glass. Now to hold the glass in place, I will apply the window stops. Pre-taped window stops. These stops will go on all 4 sides. And I will screw them in. Again, making sure not to collapse the stop with too much pressure. Then at that point I can remove these protection blocks. After the glass has been installed with the stops all the way around on the opening, I'm going to apply the backer rod to the frame, between the frame rather and the substrate. Now the backer rod is applied so that whatever the width of this gap is the depth the backer rod will be set at. In this particular case, you have a 6mm wide joint. The backer rod will be also set at precisely 6mm. So we got the backer rod in. Now what can be done to help keep the caulking joint cleaner is to apply masking tape to the areas that you don't want to get excess caulking on. In this case, I will be doing a flat caulking bead. So now I will apply the caulking to the joint. After I have applied the caulking, I will tool the caulking joint. After I've tooled the caulking adequately, I will remove the protective masking tape. And using a hardback razor blade, clean off any excess from the caulking. Once we have completed the caulking bead around the perimeter of the frame, I'll now proceed to mask off the area where the total vision system will be silicone. Again, by masking it off, it does help reduce the amount of overspray when I apply the caulking. This is masked off on both sides of the glass, on both sides of the frame. Once I've got it masked off, I'll run my silicone bead, starting at the top. Making sure that the silicone goes all the way through. Now after I have applied the silicone, I'm going to proceed to tool it. I'll be using the flat side of a horseshoe shim first, on this side. Then I'll go around to the inside and tool off the inside portion. After I've removed the excess silicone, I'll then turn over to the concave portion of the setting block, run it down the joint, so you create a concave look to the silicone. At this point, once this is complete, then I'll remove the protective masking tape on both sides. Now after I've completed the removal of all of the masking tape on the frame, I'll proceed to run the cap bead, which is a watershed type bead to help to shed water in the event of rain hitting the window. Again, starting at the top. Now after having applied all of the perimeter caulking that's required, the silicone total vision bead that was required in the middle of the frame, I will clean it before I leave the frame bead. Clean the frame as well as the glass so as to leave a nice finished product for the customer.